Hey everybody, this is Paul doing a quick little video here. The market is currently open. It is 12:14 p.m. Central Standard Time and it is July 16th. Currently my portfolio is up compared to the market that is down. Um, Looks like the big headline for today is going to be mostly Delta variant spreading. I mentioned this in my last video. Since states like mine, for example, in the South here are at 30% vaccination rates, so you got the Delta variant spreading down here, and it's not spreading nearly as much in other places. So you're having rising cases, you're having news headlines with kids in Mississippi in the ICU. So it's catching the attention of Wall Street. So you're getting this very divergent kind of trade going on. So you see things like Travelers going up, but you also see Salesforce going up. But you see Procter and Gamble going up. And then when you come over here, you have Zoom, you have Moderna up, obviously, and then you have the different Chinese stocks over here down. But it's just a few different narratives going on all at once. Also, you have bonds a little bit up, rallying a little or selling off a little. So not too much to affect things, but it's a very right now, since I have a very defensive, I would say dividend defensive portfolio, dividend heavy defensive. With electric companies, utilities, these types of things, communication services, Pepsi, Coke, that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely seeing a rally today. Um, a little surprised banks aren't up a little, like Goldman Sachs or something like that, or because you are seeing higher rates here, but that might reverse a little bit later on in the day. Um, or some people might just straight up be taking profits, which is entirely possible. So right now, portfolio's up above 56,000 again, which is really nice. Definitely moving in the right direction. Also, as it stands right now, I typed in this number just now. This doesn't include the money that's in here for the day, so this might end up being more like 1,800 for the month. And the big reason why is because of the employer contribution of 1187. So that's why people tell you to try and match, try and max out. So if you get like say a 2% raise and you can afford it, up your 401k contribution by 1%, that kind of thing. So that you're at least trying to, it's basically free money that you get every year from your employer that's tax free. If they pay you, that goes straight into your 401k. So as it stands right now, probably up about 700 this month, give or take a little. So much better than last month where it was, it was just flat to down. Um, Also, the I added a section onto my sheet here to include, should call this child care tax credit, CCTC probably. This little section right here. So I've already subtracted off this one um, because I have kids and whatnot. So I took $200 of that and I put it into CVS right here. So I had 24 shares, now I'm 26. I also had dividends payout last night for Leggett and Platt, O, and Maine. As you can see, it's the 15th, or the day past 15th there, so that paid out. And then currently the portfolio is going in a very nice direction. Um, Dividends are definitely, let me go over here, you can see, 24, 5, 6. They're heading in a nice direction. By next week's video, I'll have one of my work paychecks, and it's kind of one of those ones that just lines up where it's not a lot coming out of it. So I might actually have this go up by $400 based off of just money contributed from that. Um, I'll probably add just an extra $400 between now and then. If the market doesn't die by then, so actually this number might be higher. I don't know what the market's up to, but either way, whatever the market does, hopefully I'll be able to invest that. So where would I put that money for next week? Um, so like I said, that's the 22nd, give or take a little. So what I would look for is something that has an ex-dividend date prior or before the 22nd. So it would be pretty much anything you see above this line here, for example, so that I can get in and be able to get the dividend. So Maine, obviously, that's one that pays every month. Pfizer is a good example. The percent of my portfolio is 4.73%. I wouldn't mind bumping this up to 5%. And if I go down here and just sort my portfolio as it stands right now, right here, so you can see I wouldn't mind moving this number into the $3,000 range at some point. So if I had, say, $400 worth of Pfizer, that's probably 10 shares, and it has a hell of a dividend. There's a few more stable ones, like Intel, for example. I consider these the low. I do think at some point, I'm hoping Intel will go back up. I had a few of them that, like, I had Viatris that's sitting like this. I have Regents that's sitting like this. If I just sort these by my worst right now, so like these are my worst right now, as you can see. So my instinct would be to add more into Intel at this price, or I would go with Pfizer. Um, if I'm looking at what Moderna's, and this is between now and next week, so if I'm looking at what Moderna's doing, even though I'm up 13% on Pfizer, if you just look at what Moderna's doing, and if you think there's going to be another COVID wave, Pfizer kind of makes sense because it has a lot more room to run. Plus, it's just a dividend stock. So I have to see how I feel between now and then. If Intel dips anymore, I might jump more into that. So we'll have to kind of see. And then let me show you the estimated income. Right now, 100, 198, 193. And then I'll show you the performance to date, year to date. I'm actually lagging S&P. There's probably a lot of people that's lagging the S&P, to be honest with you, just because there's bank stocks in here, and the bank stocks have just taken off. There's a lot of stuff in there, but they've definitely had a run. So I'm keeping right there. I'm hopefully that I'll catch up there, and then so where do I see the market going? Just my thoughts on it. I think you're going to have more governors have way more pressure to, talk about mask in schools again, that type of thing. I think as you're probably going to see COVID cases go up, unfortunately. Um, you're just gonna, I just think you're gonna see COVID cases going up. If you look at what happened in Russia right now, there's still like 800 deaths a day, that kind of thing. As if, summer turns into fall and then turns into winter. As it stands right now, we don't have the vaccination rate. So I think in the South, you're gonna see just really bad numbers. You're gonna start hearing about the South really bad. Um, does that really affect the rest of the country? I don't know. It's going to be a two-tier. It's a two-tier recovery right now. Do I think the governors are going to shut down the states? No. Do I think people will stop spending? Yes. Even if the governors say everything's fine in the southern states where I live, like I have a Democrat as a governor, so they're probably going to be a little more cautious about it and maybe go along more with the president on this. But I don't see Florida shutting down. It's just not going to happen. They're just going to kind of say, it's up to you. But we saw how consumers acted with that last year. They completely, they just kind of started spending more online. So what does that bode well for? That bode well probably for things like QYLD. This is just basically a bunch of tech stocks. Amazon, Intel might get hit. So there's a few reopening stocks that I think could get hit. So we're going to have to definitely see. And then you also get into hurricane season too. So I want to at some point add Home Depot back into here, which is HD. Try and get Home Depot added back in here. Even though the dividend rate is, whatever, it's like 2%. But it's just a monster of a stock. And it's constantly packed. So it's definitely just one of those stocks I just definitely need to get back into my portfolio at some point. Especially with the wood prices coming down the way they are, you're going to see just a reverse of this inflation narrative, I think, at some point. But then it's also going to turn into the Delta narrative, which Delta is real and it's going to affect things, but it depends on how consumers behave. So we'll definitely have to see. But let me know what you think in the comments, and y'all have a nice day.